In this video, we're going to go over pages 147 to 150 in Chapter 6. Lesson 5 is going to be using nutrition information. So first, a few vocabulary words. First, we have nutrient, which is a substance in food that your body needs to work properly. Daily value is the nutrient levels listed on a food label. The recommended dietary allowance is the nutrient levels required to maintain energy and growth. Trace means it's just a very small amount. And international units, IU, is the amount of nutrient or vitamin that produces an effect. The foods you eat affect your health and your body's functions. To help you make wise nutrition choices, food labels list nutrient amounts for one serving of a food product. The food label gives the percentage of the daily value for each nutrient that one serving of the food provides. Daily values are based on a diet of 2,000 calories per day. Your own daily values may be higher or lower depending on your calorie needs. You can use the percent daily value to estimate how much of a nutrient is in one serving. Daily values can also help you watch your intake of food substances such as cholesterol, sodium, and dietary fiber. People with high blood pressure are often advised by their doctors to lower their sodium intake. Food labels tell you how much sodium is in your food product so that you can track how much you consume. For example, the daily value for sodium is 2,400 milligrams. A food that has 1,150 milligrams of sodium per serving states on the label that it has 48% of the daily value. The way that they're getting this is by taking the 1,150 and dividing by 2,400, and we get 0.48, which means 48%. The charts on page 148 show the recommended dietary allowances for certain nutrients and the nutritional value of some beverages. You can use this information to help you decide how many calories and how much of each nutrient your body needs. On the beverage chart, T means that only a trace amount of nutrient is present. For international units is a standard measurement for some nutrients. So going on to the next page, it's just two big tables that show us some recommended dietary allowances for these food elements. It breaks it down by gender and age group. So females between the ages 9 to 13 would need this much protein, calcium, iron, vitamin A, riboflavin, niacin, and vitamin C. And then males would need that much. So using this table, and this is an example of different milks and juices consuming 8 ounces of whatever it is. So whole milk, skim milk, different types of juices, etc. So what you are going to do with these two tables is use them for the next 2 pages. You're going to complete these exercises using those tables. So for example, which beverage is highest in vitamin A? So I would go back to the table, look at all the beverages, figure out where vitamin A is. So vitamin A is right here, and look for the highest number. The highest number is right there. So my answer would be skim milk. Okay? So you are going to use the tables to solve the rest of these problems on page 149. And we are also going to complete page 150. So let's go to the next one. One serving of food may provide part of the recommended dietary allowance for a certain nutrient. You can find out what percent of the RDA for a nutrient is supplied in one serving by using a ratio. For example, what percent of the RDA of iron for an 18-year-old female is provided by 8 ounces of apple juice? So what we need to set up is the amount of iron in apple juice divided by the recommended amount of iron, and then how much is actually in the apple juice. So if I go back to my table, I am looking for apple juice, 8 ounces. Okay, and this one is talking about iron. So I'm going to go to iron is right there. Apple juice is right there. So 0.9, that's where I get the 0.9. And then I'm also going to need how much is needed for, in this case, an 18-year-old female. So 18-year-old female iron we need is 15. Okay, so that's where we're getting the numbers for this fraction. So I put the 0.9 on top, the 15 at the bottom. We're going to change that fraction to a percent, or you can just literally type in your calculator 0.9 divided by 15, and it's going to give me 0.06, which we know means 6%. So by drinking 8 ounces of apple juice, I have consumed, or if I were an 18-year-old female, I've consumed 6% of the recommended intake of iron for me in my age group, okay? So you're going to go ahead and use that table to solve all of these examples. So pay attention to the age, pay attention to the drink, and you need to also know how much is needed for that particular age group and gender. And then all of your answers need to be percent, because we're figuring out what percent you are intaking by consuming that drink. For all of these, you're going to just assume that we're drinking 8 ounces. Later, we're going to talk about what happens if you drink a different amount for that milk or juice that we're talking about, okay? And that's the end of today's lesson and the video.